Now, with an 11 breaking news alert. This is KKTV 11 News at 5:30.
We're going to get right to that 11 breaking news alert here at 5:30. Donte Lucas just found guilty this afternoon for the murder of Kelsey Schelling. There's a lot of reaction and emotion outside of the courtroom even right now.
Yeah, let's get out to Danielle Kreuter now. The prosecution team and Kelsey's family just came out and spoke maybe about an hour ago to the members of the media. Danielle, what did they say?
Yeah, Lindsay and Adam, you know, Laura Saxton, Kelsey's mom, has been extremely outspoken over the course of this 8-year-long journey for justice for her daughter. Although during the trial, she didn't speak to the media at all, of course, with the exception of today. And that was moments after a judge sentenced her daughter's killer to life in prison without parole. Saxton says she is so grateful for the support of the community and the jurors who heard this case. She says in the end, though, she was really hoping to learn where Kelsey's body is and be able to give her a proper burial.
We're very, very thankful for this outcome. But in the end, I didn't get Kelsey back. And that's what I wanted more than anything. So I feel like I didn't do something, I didn't push hard enough on something, or I didn't look enough on something to bring her home.
When asked about her thoughts on the sentence that Lucas was handed down, she said that it was appropriate that he received the maximum sentence. Reporting live in Pueblo, I'm Danielle Kreuter, KKTV 11 News.
All right, thank you, Danielle. And Kelsey Schelling was 21 years old and 8 weeks pregnant when she went missing. Following the press conference, Kelsey's mother describes her as bubbly with a huge heart.
And the family says they never stopped her search for her, and they never will. Her body has not been found, and today her mother asked the community to keep an eye out for anything suspicious and report it to authorities. And we want to tell you more about Kelsey's disappearance and the trial itself. 11 News reporter Kasha Carriage has been following this case from the very beginning. Kasha, I know from covering this case years ago when she first disappeared that there's a lot of community emotion wrapped up in all of this for her family and the community, really. This trial has been long awaited.
That's right, Adam. When I walked in the door for trial this morning, I had no idea we would be getting a verdict tonight. Donte Lucas and Kelsey Schelling were dating when Schelling went missing 8 years ago. She was pregnant at the time. Police say Donte Lucas was the last person to see Kelsey the day of her disappearance, and he wasn't arrested at the time. It wasn't until December of 2017, 4 years later, that Donte was arrested for an unrelated robbery charge. While he was in jail, police arrested him for Kelsey's murder. After several delays, the trial started the first week of February, but was put on a 2-week hold for a reported case of COVID in the courtroom. Prosecution focused on surveillance footage, cell phone records, and cell phone pings for this case. The defense decided to not bring up any witnesses this morning, although they did have a full list of witnesses planned. Now, after just a few hours of deliberation, the jury decided Donte Lucas was guilty of murdering Kelsey Schelling. He will remain in prison for life without parole. As for what's next, now we are hearing there may be a press conference tomorrow afternoon with Kelsey's family and the district attorney, so I'll be back here tomorrow with updates. Reporting live in Pueblo, Kasha Carriage, KKTV 11 News.
All right, Kasha, thank you. Let's get to No Wait Weather with Chief Meteorologist Brad Blood. So we're under an 11 breaking weather alert tonight. Other big story of the day is the wind out there, right?
Yeah, the wind is still somewhat of an issue, Adam, and that's been prompting the fire danger to be pretty high out there. Thankfully, it is calming down a bit. As we talked about through the course of the afternoon, once we got to sunset, a lot of those stronger gusts in the 30s to around 40 would gradually subside. I'm happy to say we're doing so. And it's still 62 degrees outside, so that is certainly beautiful for this time of year. A little cooler in Monument this hour, coming in at 54 and still pretty breezy. For folks that live across the rest of southern Colorado, these are what temperatures are looking like. Upper 60s in Pueblo, some low 70s out here toward La Junta, Lamar, and Springfield, so temperatures certainly not the problem out there right now. And thankfully, overnight tonight, that wind will continue to subside, so by the time we head toward late tonight and into the wee hours of the morning, not a problem whatsoever. Some of it will be back as we head toward tomorrow, and then something bigger we have in the forecast potentially later in this week. We'll talk more about what that means for you coming up in just a bit, guys.
Can't wait to hear about it. Thank you, Brian. Well, more than 58,000 people in El Paso County are fully vaccinated against COVID-19 with both doses of the vaccine. That's according to the county's vaccine dashboard. It also shows that more than 104,000 people in El Paso County have gotten their first dose of the vaccine. The state health department says that overall more than 1.6 million doses have been administered here in Colorado, and more than 612,000 Coloradans are now fully immunized against the virus. Now, people who have been fully vaccinated now have new advice from the CDC about what's safe to do and what isn't. The agency says it is okay to spend time indoors with other vaccinated people without wearing a mask. 11 News reporter Spencer Wilson is live outside the El Paso County Health Department. And Spencer, health experts say this isn't as simple as this is the end of the pandemic.
Yeah, Lindsay, the El Paso County Health Department says that it's the start of the finish line for us, but there are still plenty of people in El Paso County that have not been vaccinated. Therefore, we're not hitting that needed herd immunity where we can all go back to things the way they used to be. Now, the CDC says anyone who's received the vaccine needs to wait 14 days from their final shot to start mixing with other people indoors. It also says vaccinated people still need masks in public because the majority of Coloradans are still unvaccinated. Local health authorities say there's still more to understand about vaccines and this virus even now.
When we look at guidance like the CDC or CDPHE puts out, it's balancing risks. And so we know that for people who are vaccinated, they're at low risk of getting the disease, COVID-19. What we still don't totally know is how much the vaccine protects against asymptomatic infection, and then how much the vaccine protects against our ability to spread the virus to others.
Now, the CDC also said now is not the time to give up on our social distancing, even when we are getting closer and closer to that day. Right now, we need to hold on to that and ease back into the new style of life that we will eventually bump into after our social distancing days are over. Live in Colorado Springs, Spencer Wilson, KKTV 11 News.
Okay, Spencer, thanks for the update. The Colorado Health Department says there are confirmed cases of the South African COVID-19 variant at the Chaffee County Prison. Officials say 2 correctional staff members and 1 inmate there are positive for the variant. The first confirmed case of the South African variant was detected in Colorado back in late December. Health officials say that variant is more transmissible, in their words, than the regular strain of COVID-19. As you may know, we have a new face here on KKTV 11 News. I want to take a moment to introduce Lindsay Bosch to those folks at home that are watching. You may have met her on social media already, but now it's official. You're on the air with us.
Yeah, thanks. I'm so excited to be here. We've been in Colorado, my family. I've got a husband, my son, and daughter. We've all been here for almost 2 years. Last year was kind of weird. We spent a lot of time outdoors, which is not unusual for us, but we love to go hiking. If you have any suggestions on places to go see, we love to check out new trails, new spots around Southern Colorado. We're really excited to do that. Every weekend we like to get outside when it's nice enough and go exploring. So if you have any suggestions, please let me know.
Absolutely. It's good to have you part of the station and the community.
Glad to be here
in Southern Colorado. Well, some 400 Coloradans will get some money as part of a settlement with a travel company. Still to come, an 11 call for action alert. Why the Attorney General says the company violated consumer protection laws.
And an update to an 11 breaking news alert from last week. We now know more about the deaths of 2 people in a shooting in eastern El Paso County. What the sheriff's office believes happened. Coming up next. We have an update for you. We now know the 2 people found dead in what the El Paso County Sheriff's Department is calling a murder-suicide. Deputies say they found the bodies of 33-year-old Sarah LaRocca and 58-year-old Brian Losey when they responded to a shooting last Tuesday. There is also a 3rd person who was injured. That person, though, has not been identified. Investigators say they believe the incident was related to domestic violence. If you or someone you know has been a victim of domestic violence, you can call the Tessa hotline. You can call the number there on your screen 24 hours a day, 719-633-3819.
This man, Randy Royal, is now officially the new fire chief at the Colorado Springs Fire Department. He was sworn in by Mayor Suthers earlier today. Royal has served with CSFD for over 34 years, and he says he's looking forward to the challenges that this new position brings.
Just looking forward to the new challenges and keeping this going in the right direction.
Royal previously served as deputy chief under former Chief Ted Collis, who retired on Friday.
We have an 11 call for action alert for you. Around 400 Coloradans will get their money back after the Colorado Attorney General says a travel company violated consumer protection laws. The AG says the company, Voyagers International, originally did not provide full refunds for people who paid for trips to Europe that were canceled because of COVID-19. Voyagers agreed to refund the withheld fees as part of a settlement. Brian?
Lindsay, I'm tracking a storm that is still out in the Pacific Ocean, so we've got a little time to watch it, but it's already looking pretty impressive, and I think it will be impressive, at least for some of us. Let's talk more about that coming up next.
Now, with an 11 breaking weather alert and your certified most accurate forecast, Chief Meteorologist Brian Bledsoe.
Well, folks, fire danger is still at least going to be a little bit of an issue, even as we head toward tomorrow. And while I think the wind will be a little bit lighter, it's still going to a little breezy out there. Lots of sunshine. Temperature will be up there around 70 tomorrow afternoon. So can't argue with that. Again, putting back-to-back days together like this type of warmth, it's certainly a treat by early March standards. And Pueblo will probably be in the lower 70s once again for tomorrow. If you think that's warm, get a load of what's going on out here on the southeast plains once again, with numbers topping out between about 75 and 80 degrees. So very warm, at least for this time of year, pretty much everywhere here in southern Colorado. And get outside and enjoy it, because we know it won't last. And it's going to likely come to a screeching halt in some way, shape, or form later this week. We got a storm system that we're talking about. As we were heading to the commercial break, I was showing that to you. And by tomorrow evening at this time, it's going to be positioned just off the Pacific coast. It will be making its way slowly off to the south and southeast. So by the time we head toward later Thursday, it's down here near Las Vegas. Now, these types of storms take their sweet old time moving out here, okay, folks? And a lot of times the computer models do not handle them very well, especially at this range. So as we get closer, we're going to pin this down a little more accurately. But the way we see it right now, it's going to make its way into Arizona by Friday and possibly set up shop up around Albuquerque as we head toward later on Saturday, which would be in a really good spot to deliver a pretty good wallop of snow to some parts of southern Colorado. The problem that I have with this track is that right now it may end up kind of zipping up over the top of us, which would put that window of opportunity to see heavy snow in a pretty narrow fashion around here. It still looks good right now, don't get me wrong, but if this track goes a little farther north, it takes a lot of southern Colorado out of the fray. If it goes a little farther south, it keeps us in the fray. And that's what my job is going to be during the course of the week, is figuring that out and how it's going to play out. Bottom line, the temperature trend is undeniable here. We're going to go from around 70 tomorrow all the way down into the upper 20s likely as we head towards Saturday with that snow chance. So get outside and enjoy what we're going to have for tomorrow. What we do know about this storm system, we do have a big storm in the pipeline. Track resembles an Albuquerque low right now, which again would be on the table for some big snow totals because all the elements are present, at least as of right now. The problem with that, as I said, great uncertainty exists with those details. That's why I'm urging you to stay tuned right here to the Breaking Weather Leader, and we will responsibly walk you through these forecast details during the course of the week. After we get past near 70 tomorrow, it's 50s Wednesday and 40s Thursday, so we chop quite a few degrees off of that, and then we bring snow into the fray late Friday into Saturday, possibly into Sunday, especially if this storm system slows down, and temperatures will no doubt be much colder, only in the upper 20s there for the weekend. Pueblo, Canyon City, and Woodland Park, enjoy tomorrow, because after that the changes commence with the better chances of snow likely showing up late Friday and possibly lingering into Sunday, just like Colorado Springs. Taylor.
Thank you, Brian. Well, this week is conference tourney time on the college hardwood. How Air Force women's hoops handled things in today's second round at the Mountain West Championships coming up. Plus, Giannis may have left with the trophy, but we all know the Joker was the real MVP at last night's All-Star game. We're going to hear from him next.
This stock market report is sponsored by Carlson Financial, putting you on the better side of retirement planning. The KKTV 11 Sports Wall, sponsored by Perkins Motors. Now, KKTV 11 Sports with Taylor Kilgore.
Nikola Jokic has played a lot of minutes in the first half of this season. In fact, only 7 players in the NBA are averaging more minutes per game than the Joker. Starting today, though, he's getting some well-earned rest before the second half starts on Friday. And no surprise here, the Joker showed out on the All-Star stage last night. His game was good. His jokes, even better.
I mean, I don't know why they're snapping me the second year in a row. So it's all happened because of me. That's why we won the game.
Post-game sarcasm about why the MVP title was stolen from him, balling out on the big stage. Yeah, safe to say Nikola Jokic was having the most fun at last night's All-Star game. Couldn't keep your eyes off of him. Colorado were definitely lucky to have him here. The Nuggets opening the second half of the season Friday in Memphis. Second round action at the Mountain West Tournament. Air Force taking on the 1 seed New Mexico. Off the steal, Kaylin Immel off to the races. 3 seniors combining for only 16 today, but Riley Snyder came through, finishing with contact here. She had a game-high 23 points. Unfortunately, it was not enough. The Falcons' road ends today. They lose 67-51. Now over on the men's side, Joe Scott and the boys will take on UNLV in the first round of the Mountain West Tournament. The Falcons come in as the 10 seed this year, but how about this? AJ Walker coming into the postseason with 996 career points. 4 more to pass that 1,000 career mark. Let's hope he gets it done. 1:30 tip-off coming up in Sioux City on Wednesday. Well, Selection Sunday, yes, just less than a week away. We know the Buffs will be dancing this year. At what seed? We still have to wait for that. But today, they are working their way up the national rankings yet again. Check it out today. Colorado up 1 spot in the AP National Poll, coming in 23rd, just ahead of USC. Interesting enough, though, the Pac-12 regular season champs, Oregon, nowhere to be found. This weekend, the Ducks were crowned Pac-12 champs based on winning percentage. USC finished as the conference runner-ups. And Tad Boyle and the boys finished the regular season in 3rd place. But CU did beat both of those teams this season, including a season sweep of the Trojans. The bracket is out. We'll see what Colorado can do. They'll get a first-round bye this year. They'll play the winner of Cal or Stanford in the conference quarterfinals. That game coming up Thursday, guys.
Okay, Taylor, thank you. We're staying on top of our 11 breaking news alert tonight on 11 News at 10.
I think the community should feel good, feel safe that he's not going to be back out on the streets again.
That's Kelsey Schelling's mom speaking just moments after learning the man convicted of killing her daughter will spend the rest of his life in prison.
Tonight at 10, we'll walk you through everything in the case from when Kelsey was first reported missing in 2013 until the man accused of killing her was found guilty more than 8 years later.
Don't forget, KKTV 11 News is your breaking news leader. We're always at KKTV.com. And of course, the next newscast at 10 o'clock. So we'll see you late tonight.